Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Define Disaster. This is Battlefield 4, and in today's weapon review, we're going to be taking a closer look at the SG553 Carbine with the aim of finding out whether or not this gun is more of an all-rounder or close quarter capable carbine. Now before we get started with today's review, quick shout out to Unknown Element for suggesting this video, who wanted to know a little bit more about the SG553. I hope I'm able to answer your questions regarding both the performance of this weapon and its best use situations. With that being said, however, let's start with the stats of the SG553. We have a standard carbine damage model here with a maximum damage of 24 and a minimum damage of 15.4, a relatively high fire rate at 830 rounds per minute, giving it definitely close quarter capabilities. However, not at the point where the recoil should be so unmanageable that it is absolutely unusable at anything else. Moving on then to the magazine size of this gun at 30+1. It's just got a standard 31 bullet magazine available to it and a relatively quick reload at 2.15 seconds for the short reload and a longer reload at 2.65 seconds for the long reload. Definitely all in the manageable area and should make it quite a formidable opponent in close quarter combat. Moving on then to the recoil of this gun with 0.34 vertical recoil, 0.25 to the left and 0.39 to the right. It's quite an unruly gun. It's definitely going to require some skilled managing and recoil control if it's to be used at slightly further ranges. This is exacerbated by the first shot recoil multiplier at 2.3, meaning that this gun does have a relatively high first shot kick. Moving on then to the accuracy standard for a carbine. Here we have an ADS value of 0.3, nothing too terrible for close quarter medium range. However, going to make this weapon difficult to use at long range if recoil didn't already rule that out completely. It also does have decent hipfire accuracy at 2.5 while hipfiring standing and moving. Next up, let's talk about the recommended attachments for the SG553. Being a carbine specialized in close quarter to medium range engagement distances, it should be no surprise that a red dot sight of your preference is going to be what we're going to be using here for your optic. In my case, I used a Cobra sight here because I didn't quite have the Coyote unlocked just yet. Accessory here should be a laser sight for close quarter hipfiring. If you however find it difficult to turn this off in smoky situations, you may actually want to go with either a target detector or no attachment at all. Barrel attachment for me is usually going to be a compensator, allowing me to reduce that horizontal recoil, make this gun more usable at medium ranges. However, if you find yourself using this gun exclusively in close quarter, TDM-like situations, you may want to slap on a suppressor instead. Last but not least, we have the underbarrel attachment, where as per usual I would recommend a vertical grip. If you're trying to tap fire this gun, however, you may want to put on an angled foregrip, because this will of course allow you to better tap fire as it reduces your first shot recoil multiplier. With the gun itself and the attachments being covered, what do I actually think of the SG553's performance? It's actually pretty solid, and the advantage of using an SG553 over, for example, something as an ACWR is it's more easy to use at medium range situations, and playing TDM you actually get into kind of medium range combat more frequently than you would actually expect. This is where you can beat out something like an AK by using an ACE-23, and it's why you find many people in TDM games also using things like even DMRs. So the SG553 is a solid choice. Can I recommend it over something like an ACWR? Personally, I find it to be inferior to guns like those, but that's just because I am very good at controlling recoil. I've had quite a bit of practice. I'm almost at 1,000 hours of playing Battlefield 4, and after some time you gotta know what you're doing with the guns. However, for more novice players who find recoil control a little bit more difficult, or those console people out there who just can't deal with recoil in the same way we on the PC can, not meaning that that of course is inferior, you may find the SG553 to be a good trade-off. Of course, a lower fire rate, lower damage output, however, much easier to control, and no fire rate in the world is any good if you can't hit your target you're shooting at. With that being said, I'd like to know what you would think about the SG553. What are your experiences? When do you like to use this gun over something like maybe an ACWR or other close quarter capable carbines? Let me know down below in the comments, as well as your future video suggestions. Like this one, I like to do videos based on what my users, my subscribers like to see, so feel free to leave a comment down below with your suggestion. With that all being said, I'd like to thank you very much for watching though, and hope to see you in the next Battlefield 4 video.